Today I'm going to walk you through how to make a digital collage titled Freaky Fruit. Bring in your first image and rasterize it, and then use the Object Select tool. I had to also use the Quick Select tool to select my cherries here. I inversed the background and deleted it, and then I brought in my second image and repeated those steps. I used the Object Select to select the tool. I went to Select Inverse to choose the background, deleted it, and then I used the Free Transform tool in order to move and put that object on the page where I wanted it. Keep in mind you can reorder your layers until you're happy with the layering of your objects. I'm going to bring in my third image now. Again, repeat those steps of using the Object Selection tool to choose the object, inverting the selection to delete the background, and then using the Free Transform tools to place the object where you want it on the page. You can continue to select and transform your images and reorder them until you're happy with your layout. I'm going to head over to the Metropolitan Museum of Art to find some objects to decorate my scene with. This is an extra step if you want to add extra objects, and this is a good place to find images that are part of the public domain. So I found a vase here. I'm going to save it to my desktop so I can drop it in, and I'm going to use the Object Selection tool to select the object, inverse the selection, and delete the background and place it where I want it on the page. I'm going to go back and grab another decorative item, again repeating those steps of getting rid of the background through Object Selection tool, inverse and delete, and I'm going to reorganize my layers to place this object in the background. My next search is for a table, and so this is an optional step for the assignment for my class. If you do add a table, you'll get 5 points extra credit. I liked this table, so I went ahead and added it to my design. Again, got rid of the background, adjusted my layers, and I'm going to have to adjust my objects as well so that they sit on the table a little bit more convincingly. For the background color, I'm actually using the eyedropper tool to pick up one of the colors in the table, and I'm going to use that color in the background. I actually try a couple different colors till I find one that I'm happy with, and I'm just going to use the bucket tool to drop that color right into the background. For this next step, I'm heading over to Google Images, and I'm going to make sure I'm only searching for Creative Commons licensed images, and I found these lovely googly eyes. I'm going to use the selection tool and the eraser tool to select the part of the googly eyes that I want to use in my design. And after a little finagling here, I'm happy with my selection. I did need to go back in with my eraser and clean it up a little bit, but overall this will work. I'm going to end up copying and pasting these googly eyes as separate layers so that I can put little eyes on each of my fruit. I'm using the Free Transform tool to change the rotation and scale of my googly eyes. Underneath the Edit button, you can also find other transform options, including perspective and warp. I will be using these to kind of adjust the shapes of some of my eyes, as well as the mouth once I get to that stage in the next sequence. Underneath the transform menu, I also have the option to flip my images vertically or horizontally. I am now ready to draw some mouths, so I'm heading over to the Paintbrush tool. You can change the size of the brush as well as the taper, and I'm going to just draw a generic mouth shape. I'm actually going to use the Object Selection tool to select that mouth shape, and then within that selected area, I'm going to add a pink layer for the tongue, and I'm going to copy this and paste it after giving it some 3D effects through the FX blending option, and I'm going to use the warp and perspective transform tools to kind of adjust each mouth just a little bit to change it for each of my fruit. Don't forget to save your working file by going to File, Save As, and save this to the cloud. You also need to go to Export, Quick Export as PNG so that you can turn this into Google Classroom.